Have you ever heard of a Red Sky crossover? It comes from the Crisis on Infinite Earths. We'll talk about it in a second. Welcome to the heart of the stories we tell. My name is Rob, and tonight I will be reviewing tonight's episode of Supergirl, the first part of the invasion. Well, sort of, because it's a Red Sky crossover. Back during Crisis on Infinite Earths, one of the signs that the Earths were about to be destroyed was the sky would go red. So, DC hyped up that this was going to cross over into every title and that this was going to affect everything. And then some of the titles, just the last page or two, or sometimes even the last panel, just had a red sky in it. And people talking about how weird the fact that there was a red sky was. Dun dun dun. Yep, well. The problem with the Red Sky crossover is that it promises to be part of something when it's really not. At best, there's a cameo appearance of something. Now, DC isn't the only company that does it. All of the big ones do. Marvel has a tendency to even do it a little bit worse with their Civil War crossover. But at the end of the day, it's one of those things that kind of annoys me. And it's kind of funny, because I get the feeling that this crossover is going to have the worst aspects of a bunch of comic book bad crossover things. In fact, the oddest part is they were actually advertising the crossover during the crossover as if it hadn't started yet. Well, I guess it really didn't. Enough about me complaining about red skies, though. So once again, it's stop. Spoiler time. For those of you just tuning in for the crossover information, all you really need to know is that portals kept opening up on and off all episode until eventually Barry showed up at the end of the episode instead of during multiple points when it would have been useful. Even worse, to be honest, she asks, okay, I'll help, what do you need help with? And they don't even answer her. Like, dun dun dun, now here's the cliffhanger, because we're cliffhangering the beginning of next week's episode. Except it's not next week, obviously, it's the crossover. But this was really a 3-night crossover, so still impressive, but not as impressive. I do have to laugh, because at the end of the night, the big explosion turns the sky red. So that was kind of like the writer's room going, we know where you're going to go with this analogy. So since this was just a normal episode of Supergirl, let's talk about it as such. We had some great Cyborg Superman moments, even though I don't know why they call him that, including having Hank Henshaw versus Hank Henshaw, which was awesome. We had a really great shot of the fortress, although I don't understand how Helix was hacked so easily, or why. And even more so, this is kind of annoying for all of last week's end, too. We have this hyper-advanced AI, and somehow it gets fooled by just someone smearing blood on their hands, because that really doesn't change the fact that it's not Kara. And then on top of that, we have the fact that then it was able to be reprogrammed by that guy. The other thing that kind of grates on me is when they take Kryptonian and act like it's just us, because at the end of the day, the Medusa is a human concept. It's not a word that can just be translated. It is an entire concept, and it's one that I don't think would translate so easily from an alien language. Although the fact that her father was the inventor of the weapon is kind of cool, because we did get a whole bunch with her mother last season. Now, like most Supergirl episodes, the parts that this did best were when it was both trying to be adult and trying to deal with interpersonal relationships. So, what did it do great? Well, good old Dr. Mom came to the rescue a couple of times, and let's be honest, the fact that she was so cool with the way her daughter came out to her was a really great moment, very touching, and showed that the writers knew exactly what they were doing when they wrote this very adult situation. However, then we have Mon-El and Kara playing Monopoly. And her with the 12-year-old, you like me. Which, wouldn't be so bad if he didn't also not understand the language. And to put it to shame, when Alex and Maggie have a very similar situation with the you like me thing at the end of the episode, they show how adult they can handle it. But not with Mon-El and Kara. I think that's a running problem with this show. They have Kara be a little too young sometimes. Although that does occasionally work out well. Like when Stealth Kara was going to totally manipulate Lena, and Wynn's like, yeah, I'll just hack her anyway. And that brings me to tonight's question. What did everyone think about Lena Luthor? Now, when she first showed up, I was kind of worried. I said that the whole fact that Metallo said that a Luthor hired him and he's never failed a Luthor before could mean that he was actually working for her. However, we now have learned that it is his mother, her mother, not her herself, who's responsible for this. And I don't know, somehow she does keep seeming to be a friend to Kara, even to Supergirl, and she did save the day at the end, creating the title of the whole Red Sky thing. But at the same time, she's still a Luthor, and I still have this feeling, just deep down, that there's still another twist coming with that. And then one last thought on this week's episode. It was kind of weird how quick they resolved the whole Martian Manhunter turning into a white Martian thing. But okay, whether it was a Red Sky crossover or not, this was the beginning of the 4-night crossover. So join me back here tomorrow, when we're going to watch an episode of The Flash, and then I'm going to put up the review. Now, as normal on Tuesdays, my review will be up a little later than others, but that's okay. Either way, I will recap and review and tell you what I think. I'm really still hyped for the possibility of this crossover. If you want to hear what I have to say about it and more, subscribe, like, and share this video so that we can build a community, and then join me back here next time when we can take a walk through the heart of the stories we tell. Thanks for watching.